on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. We are here. We are minus Zach. We are minus Rocky. And we are 2 days away from NFL preseason. Things are getting pretty hot, heavy. I know I'm starting to dig in a little bit, but what's up with you dudes?
Been digging in. You missed an opportunity there to say plus Josh. We said minus. We should have said plus Josh,
right.
Which is, in my book, that's a trade, man.
It's an upgrade.
That's a trade.
I think presence speaks for itself, so that's why I didn't feel the need.
I would have given away Rocky, Zach, and a first-round pick for the next 2 years to get Josh here. Just saying.
That's a lot. He's saying a lot, but what I would like to talk about is what you got going on over there. I see you redecorated. Tell me about that.
Well, there's some trash in front of me. I just thought I'd toss it around a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Philadelphia, I hate the Eagles. Helmet's nice, but I rather it look like that. And who the hell has a plush of Nick Barnett? What kind of shit is that?
I think he got it on clearance.
Yeah, he definitely got it on clearance because who the hell goes and buys that? Is that? That's Barwin, right? Connor Barwin.
Unless that's his uncle or something.
Maybe it's his uncle.
Yeah, it's either that or his clearance bin.
I don't even understand how Connor Barwin has a doll.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It's slim pickings in Philadelphia.
This is actually where he should have that in one of these boxes because that's probably like a 1 of 1 right there. Connor Barwin doll.
Well, on that note, I know you had some comments that you were talking about. It had to do with the Eagles, the Giants, some of our division picks.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you let me hear some of those bad boys from TikTok?
All right, let's get into it here. The Huddle said, bro's trying to be different.
Well, and was he referring? Who said what? Do you remember? Oh, that was Mark.
That was regarding my pick of the Lions, man.
Yeah, and
taking the NFC North.
Response from Zach would be Mark has always been different.
Yeah, well, here's the thing with Zach. Zach is on a tear here. We're criticizing our picks on social media, and he's doing it from our handle.
Under our handle, not even his personal handle.
Hey, Zach, go to your personal handle, right? And talk that shit from there. You're making it seem like we're criticizing our own picks.
Seriously. I mean, every time I do it, it's my personal account. You see a beautiful picture of me and my wife, or whichever one I have on there. It's probably me and my wife. Yeah. And then it says
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, exactly. And then it says dash Mark UFL podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
You get your shit together. What's the next one?
All right. The next one is from I'm Timbo.
Sound it out.
It's tough. I'm Timbo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
It says, ain't no way you're the type of person that drafts a kicker in round 10 in fantasy, aren't you?
Oh, wow.
And then Zach said, Mark's in about 500 leagues. There's a possibility.
So, quick story. I did once side bet a guy for triple the buy-in of the league, and I said that I would draft a kicker in the 5th round and defense in the 7th round and finish higher than he did, and I did. And then he welched on the bet.
All right.
Nice.
So, just using a soundboard over here. Because Rocky can't seem to use more than one page. All right. Anyway. Is that the last comment?
No, there's one more.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear that last one. I want to hear this one mostly.
All right. From Sal Sandoval Jr. 8.
Sounds like he plays baseball.
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
I feel like the Eagles are overrated because it's all talk right now. Let's see how they play against an actual team.
I agree.
And Zach said, Eagles have to prove it. Agreed.
Okay, well, that's fair. At least he aired on that side. Here's something I'll say for our picks. To be fair, right? I'm not trying to pick. I know for me, I'm trying to look beyond. Like, it's very easy to pick the division winners from last year.
Yeah, dude.
They're trying to look, and the NFL every year. There's 4 new teams from each conference that make it into the playoffs. So, the Eagles last year made the playoffs. The year before they didn't, and they didn't look like they were going to.
Well, it's easy for these internet tough guys to go chalk all the time, man. Everybody wants you to go chalk, and the second you don't go chalk, they're like casual. L take.
Well, in their defense, it's not fun to say nice stuff.
That's true.
That's also true.
Yeah.
But it's also very easy to just say, the Rams are going to win the West again because they won last year.
Right.
Are you an L take type of guy? Is that all you like? You just drop L take on a comment, or were you like?
Oh no, I don't comment.
Get nasty.
I don't comment, but if I do, it is to be like a little funny. But I'm usually not a.
I think about commenting a lot.
Yeah.
I see something, want to comment.
Yeah, I'm not a hater.
Then I think about the back and forth that might happen, and then I say I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care enough about anybody.
You don't want to defend your position.
Not at all.
Yeah, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
Not in
You
the
got to
mood.
really care to comment,
That's an L take right there.
Why?
It's lazy. That's a lazy way out.
Is
You
it-
don't want to
well-
go back and forth.
No.
Someone's telling you don't know what you're talking about. You don't want to fucking show them up.
Well, if I know that I know what I'm talking about, then I don't really care.
Phil does if he was in person.
Yeah, in person it would happen, but on TikTok, I mean,
know.
you're gonna get bombarded by the 30 other people that disagree, and then you can't win anyway.
Yeah.
Especially if you're arguing with somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about, and we're talking about this for too long. But Mark, I want to ask you something. How was your week since last week? I mean, I gotta be honest with you. Just outside looking in, it seems like you're not doing a lot. Like it's just a lot of pool drinking.
That's sprinkled in.
Is it sprinkled in, or is it?
Every day.
Is it caked on?
No. Well, I mean, so the kids go back to school tomorrow, so I've had to.
So it's gonna get crazy.
I had to rein it in a little bit.
I don't think it works that way.
So,
I think it might get worse.
Yeah, it probably will get more loose.
but like I'm up every morning early.
The
Like
kids are always around, so
I have to get up. No, because during the summer, like I have to get up early every morning, like 11:15, 11:30, make them breakfast. and then after that, then you got to entertain them. So you give them all their devices to go in their rooms
Right.
and
Tough.
leave you alone so that you can do your fantasy football drafts.
Right.
And then,
it's 100% true. What
then,
you're saying.
then like 4 o'clock comes around, you're like, what are we going to do for lunch? And then,
It's
you're
tough decisions,
Yeah.
and it's all perspective.
Yeah.
For Mark, that's his life. If I was in his life, I would be thinking, hey, this shit is tough.
Yeah.
It's all.
It's
perspective.
what you know.
It's 100% perspective.
This is what you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes I don't get out to the pool till like 3:30. All the quality sun's gone at that point. You know
It's
what
actually
I mean?
the peak of the sun, but I get it. Depends where you live.
Quality sun. Oh, that is good stuff. Well, I think we belabored that enough. Let's get on to our first section, which is pressing issues.
Pressing issues. What's the issue? If there's issues, we're gonna press them.
Yeah.
Come on now. Hey, baby, ready.
Did you
Simply
like
too
Rocky?
long.
Did you
Simply
like
too long.
Rocky at the end? Come on, baby, get ready.
I want to know, does that bring back memories though? Because you were part of that drop, weren't you?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he was. I thought he was here for that drop.
No, it
No.
reminds me of semi-pro. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Do
talking about?
you wanna come love me, sexy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rocky sits here and we did that one together, but he'll come here and add like his little talking. Like he's a creative guy.
That's not weird.
He's created.
It's not weird.
He's
it's not
created
weird at all.
talking points based on his drops.
Yes.
Like the drops come first, then he's like, "Oh, we got to talk about this."
Seems
I
like
think-
a self-centered guy.
I think
Drop that.
secretly he wants to be a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm being serious.
Is it secret? Though?
He's
I don't think
very
it's a
like he'll be
secret.
here an hour early making drops, and
Yeah.
it's
He's
a little
dedicated.
scary. Yeah.
Well, even worse is he'll tell us like, I can't make it till 5:30, and you come in and like he's spread out already.
Yeah.
Like everything's
What do you mean
everywhere.
by spread out?
Like he's got like his laptops open. He's
Okay.
got all
That
his
did
shit
sound
over
different.
here.
Yeah. With his
And,
with his power and being spread out these
Yeah.
days, that's not a good mix.
Yeah, we could sue him probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Really could get into something.
a good
there.
point.
You don't want to use that power.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been very critical. All right, so let's get into our first thing here. We're pressing issues, and the mic is attacking me. What we're going to talk about is the AFC and NFC North. Originally, we were going to do the win game. We're not going to do that because I was just a little bit worried about Mark talking too much. So we're going to go over under.
Never happens.
We're going to check out the over unders. Do you know where you got them from, Mark? Was it Caesars or?
I think it was off of Caesars. I'm not 100% positive, but I think it was the Caesar Sportbook.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take those over-unders. We're going to go through them by each division there. We'll probably continue this next week with 2 more divisions. And we will just pick whether we think they're going to go over-under, obviously, and then kind of debate it if we disagree. I don't know if we will. Do you want to go AFC North first or NFC? You're a Bears fan, so I'll let you pick.
Dealer's choice.
All right, we'll leave that. We'll leave AFC North for second. We'll start with NFC North, and we'll start with the Bears because they're probably the worst team in the division, especially with the news of Roquan Smith wanting to get out of there.
Oh, dude, that's so tough to take.
So we got the Bears at 6.5 wins. I have my schedules here. I could read out the schedules if you guys want really quickly, or we could just go with our opinions.
I think at this point we can probably all just bring it up real quick and then say what we think.
Well, I have it here for you. I could just read it off real quick to make it easy. I already have
go
it
ahead.
set up.
Go ahead.
All right, so we got week 1. We got at home versus San Francisco. We got at Green Bay. We got at home versus the Texans. We got at New York, loss. We got at Minnesota. Then we have at home versus the Commanders. We have at the Patriots, at the Cowboys, home to the Dolphins, home to the Lions, at Atlanta, at the Jets, home to the Packers, at Philly, at Buffalo. Home to Philly, home to Buffalo, at Detroit, and home to the Vikings.
Sounds pretty rough.
It's not a great.
I gotta say, way worse than I thought. If he didn't read that off, I might have gave them a
so
little bit.
you're playing the AFC East, right?
Yeah.
You're playing your division, obviously. You're playing the AFC East, and looks like you're playing the NFC East too.
Yeah.
So what say you? Over or under?
Unfortunately,
What is the over under?
it's
6.5
wins. It's not even that
Hey,
high, man.
sell the house, put it on the under.
It's going
rich.
It's going to go
Or
under.
die
It's going under.
So unless Eberflus comes in and he puts together this miraculous offense, which he won't because he's a defensive coordinator, Roquan leaves. This offense is not geared to win 7 games, especially not with these opponents.
Well, due to the division.
Salad. NFC East is salad this year. Honestly, I'm thinking if we get above 4 wins, I'd be happy. Actually, I wouldn't be happy because I want the first pick next year. If we have it. I don't even know if we have it.
I think best case scenario, if Fields plays well, the coach, this is really a rebuilding year for the Bears, right? You got a new regime in there.
A new what, Vagine?
Regime.
Oh.
Right? And you're trying to reset things. I don't think that winning 5 games is necessarily a failure if they are competitive, right? And I think you can do that. But I probably think that's the best case scenario.
Yeah,
if Montgomery's playing well and if Mooney becomes what you think he might be and Fields kind of carried him a little bit. But Roquan Smith hurts.
Yeah, big time. And so you just nailed it on the head there. 5 games winning if they're competitive. I don't think they're going to replicate what Detroit did last year because Detroit won, I believe, 5 games. But as we highlighted last week, like 6 of their games was all within a touchdown.
Yep.
I don't think Chicago's getting there this year, unfortunately. I would love to say different, but I'm going under 6.5 with Chicago.
You're under 2, right? We all said under.
I'm under, but I'm a little bit more like on the fence. Not saying that like 5 games is what they could win. I think on their best season they could win around 7. Mm-hmm. Let's say if Fields is doing great, if their run game's looking right, if their defense is looking right, they could pull a couple more wins out of that and win 6. Let's say 6, 7.
Yeah,
that's
so
to
right
me
on
the
that
top.
line.
Yeah,
That's what Vegas thinks
That's
too,
why the line's
obviously.
there.
Just wonder where they're looking. All right, so we'll go to Detroit next, and they got Detroit set at the same 6.5 games. What I'm going to do is we know the division opponents, so I'm going to skip them. I'm just going to read the out of division opponents and whether they're home or away. So they open with the Eagles at home, then they play the Commanders at home, then they play at the Vikings, and then they play home to the Seahawks. Then they're at New England, they're at Dallas, home to the Dolphins. At New York, home to the Bills, home to the Jags, at the Jets, at Carolina, and then they finish with Chicago and Green Bay. That, I did like your pick for them to maybe contend for a wild card, but this looks pretty tough too.
I think they can do it though.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think with that offense now having a year under their belt, they're going to get DJ Chark. Hopefully,
are we all just high off that Jamal Williams video that's been circulating on the internet?
Was that not amazing? It's
pretty cool.
Hard Knocks started. That was last night, right? I still haven't. Have you watched it?
I didn't watch it.
I've seen the clip.
That clip is. That makes
incredible.
you believe anything can happen.
And then his follow-up response, he's like, "I'll run you over while crying. I don't give a shit."
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I like Jamal Williams.
I'm getting fired up just thinking about
it. He really got goosies right now.
Goosebumps, man.
Call him up,
man. He needs to come be an inspirational speaker in Chicago.
Sorry.
Shit, let's change.
Yeah, I would say in that division, it's to me, it's like super competitive. So it's like almost 500 you go for the division. And then it's like the extra guys, like what you think they're going to do. So I feel a little bit stronger on them, obviously, than the Bears.
Well,
So I would
'cause
take the over on
I
that.
know who Goff is, so I get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
And I think that Dan Campbell probably had. I don't think they're going to not be competitive.
They
Based
could
off
beat the
last year.
Seahawks. They could beat the Jets. They can beat the Dolphins.
They could beat
play
the
Dolphins, right?
Jaguars. They didn't play the Jaguars. They could beat the Jaguars.
So there's like a bunch of games there that put them in
I
the
just
over.
think those first 2 games are tough. You get Philly, you get the Commanders, you get the Vikings. And if you don't get out of there at least 1 and 2,
You're gonna get out 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah, I think they're coming out of that possibly 3-0.
Nah,
2-1. I have a funny feeling. I think they're gonna split with Green Bay. I think they're gonna run Minnesota, and I think they're gonna run Chicago.
I got Vikings winning that division, so I don't think they're going to run Minnesota. But
I got Packers, but
hey, I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers. All right, so is that over? Also over?
Over.
Man.
Call it.
You know what? I'm going over with I like the Lions. I like Dan Campbell. I'll go over with the Lions too.
There we go.
put the house, put the family.
I'm not doing that.
Put 'em
but
all out
I'm
there.
going with them. All right. So next we got the Vikings, who are set at 8.5 games to win. And I'll give you their non-divisional opponents. We got week 2. They open with Green Bay, but they have week 2 at Philly. Then they're home to New Orleans, at Miami, home to Arizona, at Washington, at Buffalo, home to Dallas, home to New England, home to the Jets, home to Indy, home to the Giants, and then they finish with Green Bay and Chicago. So, 8.5 wins.
This is for the Vikings, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going under. I just think in order to put them in the over, you gotta really feel good about what they're gonna do. Like a lot of those opponents are pretty tough.
Here's what's tough for me. They play at Washington and at Buffalo back-to-back weeks, and then they follow that up with Dallas and New England at home. I feel like that stretch, and they play Arizona the week before that. That's coming off a bye,
I
though.
feel like they're gonna lose all those games.
I feel like the first 6 games, Green Bay, Philly, Detroit, New Orleans, Chicago, Miami, I feel like they get out of there 3-3, 4-2. That's what I think.
I think they beat Chicago, Miami.
I think they could beat Philly.
I think they beat Chicago.
And New Orleans.
I think
What
Miami's
week is
close.
Philly's week 2.
I think New Orleans is going to tear him a new asshole. Although that's week 4. Kamara's sentencing is possibly before that, so Saints might be sans Kamara. Maybe they do.
Who's the
win that.
backup on the Saints? Is it
Mark Ingram.
no backup quarterback?
It's not Hill, right?
Yeah. Well,
Is
No,
it
Jameis
Ian
got a
Book? Those Book.
no, Book's not 2. Taysom's 2.
Oh, wow.
That's what I thought. Taysom.
So they get the bye after that first 6 weeks, right? See, this is how we should have broke those other 2 down. But they get the bye after those first 6 weeks. And that's where they have a tough run there. But then they end, I mean, the Arizona, at Washington, at Buffalo, Dallas, New England. That's a tough.
Well, let me just tell you,
5
too,
weeks.
They come back from that bye and they face the Cardinals. No,
just read that.
I know that, but I'm
Just said
saying
that.
they're facing the Cardinals that DeAndre Hopkins comes off of suspension then too. So that's going to be a heat game for Hopkins.
Maybe, or it may be a game he's not on a full snap count, and maybe he's not playing as much either.
And you say Philly's week 2,
Philly's week 2. They open with Green Bay,
but wouldn't you say like let's say in
I
head,
think they beat Green Bay at home.
in my head for Philly, like all the hype that people have for them, I would say the beginning of the season's where that is actually gonna like come to fruition.
I don't know.
I just feel like with Jalen Hurts, like the beginning of the season's where he's gonna come out and people they're gonna be a little iffy on how to play it.
Yeah.
And that's when they're gonna get the bulk of their wins, I feel, the beginning of the season.
I can't say that's a bad opinion. The thing with me and Philly is that I do think they caught people by surprise last year with that run game with Hurts, and you can see it kind of got the league was starting to catch up to it later in the year, and it gave him issues because he couldn't make. They started making him try to win, throwing
That's
the
what
ball.
I think is gonna happen again.
They couldn't, but I think they went to school on him in the offseason. I don't think they're going to come into this year letting them run. I think they're going to try to make him win from the pocket again. And I think they actually might. If Hurts is going to be their guy, I think it's going to happen with him adjusting this year and becoming better down the road. I don't think he's going to come out week 1 and set the world on fire. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Detroit is a toss-up. New Orleans, Chicago, Miami. I think those are games that either team can win. And since I'm picking them to win that division, I got to say that you're going to go 3-3, 4-2.
Right.
Middle of the season is tough, though. And then the end of the season, you got Indy, Detroit, the Jets, the Giants, which I love the Giants, obviously, but that's going to be a toss-up, too. So, I don't know.
I'm taking
It's
the
a
under.
toss-up, but the Giants got to really come out to play.
Yeah,
If
that's right.
they're gonna-
That's right.
The Giants have to be exactly what we want them to be to win that game.
Yes,
so
that's right.
in this setting,
In
let's
this
just
world.
put it for a loss.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying we think like
what
if
you're
they're
saying.
what we want them to be or what we
Yeah.
think they can be, they'll probably win that game.
All right, so
but
what do you... All right, so are you
If I
saying
wasn't a
over,
Giants fan.
over or under 8.5?
I'll put them right around 8. So I'm going under.
Under. All right, what about
I'm
you?
going under too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just to get to back to the Giants here real quick.
Oh, no, don't do that yet, because how much time we got on that clock?
There's like 7 minutes still.
Yeah, we got to get through at least one more team here. So
7 minutes.
don't go crazy. Go ahead.
I won't.
right.
So the Giants were at the center of one of my favorite tweets this week, and that was after
fight?
No, not the fight. When Danny Dimes hit a special needs guy
Oh, that's not fair.
Wow.
on the sideline.
It wasn't on purpose.
I know it wasn't on purpose.
Did he
but-
have hands?
So I don't know, but
Catch the
here's-
ball.
No, but you
Catch
need to
the
find
rock.
that
Well,
out
he-
before you take
no, no,
this
no.
hot take. If he had hands, he could have called
He
it.
may have. No,
Catch the
that,
rock.
That wasn't the best part.
Let's
See
not
ball.
go easy on
The
him.
See
best
ball,
part-
get ball. See ball, get ball.
The best part was the response to that, which somebody then tweeted. It's not nice to talk about Kenny Galladay like that,
Oh, that's fucked up.
which is hysterical.
Well,
Is it hysterical?
Not really.
No, that's hysterical. All right. So
he is
over or
he is my
under?
comeback player.
Over or under? Over or
It's actually
under?
not a bad pick for a comeback
Over
player.
or under? For the love
He
of
said
God.
I already
already.
said under.
Well, then
fucking
say
5
it.
minutes
She
ago.
said.
He said under.
All right.
Open
Well,
your
I want to go.
ears.
All right. Minnesota, I'm taking the over. I'm gonna-
You have
Minnesota.
to.
Minnesota. All right. Yeah, I do have to. All right. So the Packers, who are set at 11.5
Fuck the Packers.
wins. Okay, so let's run through theirs real quick. Obviously, we just said they open with the Vikings, Chicago. But then they are week 3, Tampa Bay. All right, let me see. Okay, home and away. Okay, here we go. They're at Tampa Bay, then they're home to the Patriots, then they're at the Giants. That's a Sunday night game. They're home to the Jets,
Heartbreaker.
at Washington, at Buffalo, home to the Cowboys, home to the Titans, at Philly, home to the Rams, and then they home to the Dolphins, and they finish with the Vikings and the Lions. I'm taking the under.
I'm taking the over.
I'm taking the under.
It's 11.5.
Yeah.
I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm going under.
I'm going 12-13 wins this year.
They got nobody to go out there and catch the ball, man.
Yeah, man.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
They got Alan Lazard. Is there
Listen,
WR1?
We're
Listen, they
Giants. We're Giants fans, if you couldn't tell. And one of the things we stood on was a lot of wide receivers that Eli Manning had. We're not great name guys, but
That's-
Eli brought them up. So
that's true,
when you
but-
say they got a pile of sticks out there
Yeah.
for the Packers,
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers obviously better, right? But lost to Eli when he was 15-1 in Lambeau.
I'm not
Let's
saying
just put that out there.
no,
But
I'm the Giants.
So you're saying Plexico Barris was a crappy receiver before Eli?
no,
we
but
never got to see him after? I mean,
Amani Toomer?
I'm not saying any of that. I'm
No.
saying they're all capable. They're in the NFL. But would they be stars?
Jeremy Shockey?
he
We
didn't-
got to see what he did after.
Total stars, man.
Was he a
wasn't-
star
he wasn't,
after
though.
the Giants? No.
Because he was like 105 after
No,
the
he
Giants.
no, he wasn't. He was
He
26.
was only with the Giants for a few years.
He's only with them for his rookie contract. Anyway, we're getting lost in the sticks here. I say under. I think he's going to have a tougher go. I think Minnesota's better. Detroit's better. Chicago plays them tough.
I don't think Detroit's better.
I think, well, I'm saying better than last year is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So I think I don't think they're just going to sweep these teams like they. I mean, the Vikings usually split with them. I think Detroit could split with them. I think the Bears maybe, but the rest of the schedule is not. It's not easy. I mean, you got the Commanders, Bills, and Lions 3 back-to-back weeks, and then you followed it up with
But when
Dallas
they-
and
but-
Tennessee. That
But
is
when
a
they do
tough
play
stretch.
but when they do play those teams, it's not like a team like the Bears, who suck, who would be playing those teams where you're like, oh, it's a loss. It's a coin flip. Every time Aaron Rodgers is on the field playing those teams, it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
So if he's going like 500 in the division, and then with all those other teams, it's always going to be a coin flip. With him and having their running game and having Aaron Rodgers there, they're going to have a coin flip every time. So I would say I'm going to stick with 12 wins. I'm going to go over.
Yeah.
We're going to stick there.
Here's the worst part for Packers fans. I'm going to love every goddamn second of it.
Okay.
Because you're going to have some false hope. After week 7, You're sitting at 6-1. You're thinking we're coasting. We're coasting at this point, 6-1, and you're still not going to win 12 games. Suck it, Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean the schedule. I mean that's a gauntlet they're running through.
Yeah,
You go
the back half of the season sucks
at
for
Washington, at Buffalo, at Detroit.
You're talking about the back half of the season. You're talking about cold weather.
That's fine.
That's what you're talking about.
Don't care.
That's fine.
Don't
They
care.
they
You
play,
should care.
I don't. Buffalo plays in the cold.
Take your
Detroit
bias out.
plays in the
I'm
cold.
saying, but when they play,
Tennessee plays in the
when
cold.
they play those teams,
Philly plays in the cold.
when they play those teams, ours is for sure loss. Or
Miami
is it
plays in the
Or is
cold.
it a coin toss? It's a coin toss.
It's a coin toss, but you're talking about them winning 12 games. So
Exactly.
when I give you 5 games, 6 games in a row that are at Washington, at Buffalo, at Detroit,
Well, I'm even giving them a win at Washington.
Dallas, Tennessee, Philly.
Dallas, come on.
That I mean, I hate Dallas, but that it's not easy to go to Dallas and win. It's not, even for them. I mean, they last time Dak played them in Dallas, he beat them. Oh no, was it? Or was that Lambeau? That was his rookie year. I don't remember. I think he beat
A
them.
while ago.
Yeah, it sure is. Things aren't like that
Let's
anymore.
get to that.
AFC North, and we'll go through their predictions, and we'll break those down. We're gonna try to be a little bit quicker here, though.
Low over under.
What?
Over under.
Hammered or what?
No, over under, man.
Well,
Over
why are you putting
under.
such a flamboyant S on
I think
the
it was
end
supposed
of
to be
that?
funny.
Why not?
All right, so we'll
try.
start with Pittsburgh because they have the lowest win total
Yeah.
at 7.5. I'll read you off the record quick. I mean the schedule quickly. They open with the Bengals.
Thought we weren't doing divisional opponents.
I have said the opening game for all of them. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, dickhead.
I don't know if you did.
All right. That is they're at the Bengals. Then they have the Patriots. Home to the Patriots, home to the Jets, at the Bills, home to the Bucks, at Dolphins, at Eagles, home to the Saints, at Colts, at Falcons, home to the Ravens, at Panthers, home to the Raiders, and then they finish with the Ravens and the Browns. So, 7.5 wins. What say you, Marcus?
Man, I'm going under. Yeah, Trubisky leading that team. It's either him or fucking tiny hands, and it don't matter which of the two are out there. I think Pittsburgh is under 7.5.
With that defense and that coach,
Don't care.
they made the playoffs last year.
Don't care.
So
They didn't
do
have
you
Mitch Trubisky leading them.
You don't
last
think
year.
Trubisky's a better quarterback this year than Roethlisberger was last year?
Nope.
That's insane. They didn't throw a pass over 20 yards.
And they still won't.
Wow, that's bull crap. And they have Najee Harris. They're going to run that option game.
They are.
All right. I'm going over.
I'm going over to just slim pickings though. You said it's how
It's
much?
super close.
7.5. I think they can win 8 games.
It's right. It's such a
Tom,
good set.
it's Mike Tomlin, man.
But they have to win divisional hard-nosed games against the Cleveland team that's defense is stout, against the Bengals team that's well-rounded, and against the Ravens team that's well-rounded.
Against the Browns team that might not have Deshaun, against the Bengals team that is probably a little overrated at this point.
Definitely
Well,
overrated.
they're definitely overrated, but they're still solid all around.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next team on the list, we'll get to Cleveland, who we were just talking about. And Cleveland's over-under is 8.5 games.
So we're guessing on that because the lines are
Yeah.
closed right now because of the Deshaun Watson ruling. So we know at this point 6-game suspension, but it's been appealed. Could be upheld. Could
So who's
end
their
up being
Q-
more.
It's a terrible question, but who's their QB?
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
It's
a
not
good
great.
placeholder. No, I
Not
mean,
great, not bad.
like we just talked about with Trubisky, if he can hold the line,
I think Trubisky's better than
it's
Brissett.
not what I'm.
Oh,
Brissett's
man,
a good
yeah.
quarterback.
Brissett's better than
No,
Trubisky.
that's you're drinking the Kool-Aid of hate right there.
No, I'm not. I'm not hating on
Not you. I'm saying
Trubisky.
him.
I'm saying if their run game is they're run heavy,
Yeah.
if their run game is what it's supposed to be, and he's just a good placeholder, then they're gonna. It's not like they're not gonna like if they had.
Yeah, but teams are going to come in there. They're not going to be worried about Brissett throwing that ball, and they're going to load up on the run game.
Which is why it'll be all right because Brissett can throw the ball decent.
All right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like he's
I
not.
mean, he can throw a spiral. I'll give you that.
He was not bad.
He wasn't bad with the Patriots. He's been bad everywhere else.
he wasn't bad
He
with
wasn't bad with the
Indianapolis.
Colts.
He wasn't bad with.
No,
my
he was a
God.
he was a good he was a basic quarterback.
I'm
Yes.
so glad to have you back.
A basic quarterback. Yes. Okay.
I'm saying if they had
So
that,
they're good enough to win with a basic quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, so if
More
they're
than eight
gonna-
and a half
if-
games.
Say if they had
think
Watson,
so.
you think they could win the division? Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if they have Brissett, it's just if they have just okay quarterback play, great running game, that's what they live
All right,
on.
so you're going over too?
I'm
guessing?
going over.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is same with the 6-game suspension, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so his first 6 games, they're at Carolina, home to the Jets, home to the Steelers, at the Falcons. You know what? I think I might be with you guys.
If it's more than
Looking
6
at
games,
those first 6 games,
Yeah.
if it's more, then I'll go under.
They're,
The
coming,
only-
they're
only-
coming out of that at least 4-2, maybe 5-1.
yeah, at least I would say at least 4-2 because they could lose to the Chargers, they could lose to the Steelers, but I don't see them losing to Carolina, the Jets. Yeah, okay. So then they are home to the Patriots. They have division games. They are at Miami, at Buffalo, home to the Bucks, at Texans, home to the Saints, and they finish with the Commanders in Washington and the Steelers. I think I might side with you guys there. 8.5 is low with that schedule, especially the way they start that season. If they get Deshaun back in the back half, I mean, I don't see why they can't win more than 8.5 games.
Jacoby might be on fire, 5-1 to start the season, and,
And
they're
then
like,
they're
you
just
know
not
what?
going to put him in.
Not even going to
I
play
don't think that's
Deshaun.
going to happen.
Careful
but,
now.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go with our next team on the docket, and we'll give the Bengals some respect. We'll go with the Ravens first, and their number is 9.5. All right, so we're week 1 at the Jets, right? Okay, we're at the Jets. Then week 2, we're home to the Dolphins. Then we're at the Patriots. Then we're home to the Bills. Then we are at the Giants. Then we are home to the Bucks, home to the Saints. Then we are, wow, why is this one so good? This is terrible, this list over here. All right, then we are home to the Panthers, at Jaguars, home to the Broncos, Falcons at home, and then we finish with the Steelers and the Bengals. And that is 8.5, 9.5.
Well,
9.5 games, dude.
You can't have everybody in the over in the division.
No.
So you kind of got to show your colors here, whether you're going with the Bengals or the Ravens.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over.
I am also going to go over.
Dude, Vegas completely disrespected Baltimore with this line. Baltimore's at least a firm 2 games over that. Baltimore's definitely over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I get the concerns with the wide receivers and all that stuff, but
Well, I think it's mainly just disrespect for Lamar.
Yeah.
He's just always underrated, no matter what.
100%.
I agree.
To have a quarterback that could win you games like what we were talking about with Aaron Rodgers, how that one quarterback, can take you over the ledge. When you have a guy like Lamar, to put him at 8.5, when they have also a better like surrounding cast than Aaron Rodgers has,
yes, that's true.
to not put them up there at 10 or like he was saying, to keep them down at 8.5 is like they must just think the Bengals are going to be that good.
Yeah.
Well, they're 9.5. It's 9.5, but still,
Okay.
even at that, I mean, I
think we're all going over, right?
I think I got them winning 12
Yeah,
games.
All right, so let's go with the Bengals real quick. They're 9.5 games, and we're disrespecting them, but whatever. So we got week 2 at Dallas, and we got at the Jets, home to the Dolphins, at New Orleans, home to the Falcons, home to the Panthers, at Tennessee, home to the Chiefs, at Tampa, at New England, home to Buffalo, and they are not winning. They are not winning 10 games.
There's no
I'm
way.
sorry.
Look at that stretch from Tennessee on, man.
It's a rough one.
November 27th, they play Tennessee. They got to go play at Tennessee, Chiefs at home, Browns at home, Buccaneers in Tampa, Patriots in New England, who's going to be, probably fighting for a playoff spot there. Bills at home and the Ravens at home. Oh man, that's got to be probably the roughest end to a season.
I'm speaking
In the
for
NFL.
myself. I like Joe Burrow.
Me too.
Oh, so do I.
But yeah, so we're not like we sound like
No.
we're haters. Like we're just
No,
like
I'm not hating on
No, I
them.
No,
like
I'm
Joe
saying I
Burrow.
just want to make it clear we like them. We
Yeah.
just think it was a little bit of a up year. It's gonna be a little bit of an evening out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
know?
think they're in regrets. They got hot and they went on a run, but I still think they're a young team, and you're in a tough division, and it's a lot, man. It's not easy to win games, and when you have a stretch like this in a division that's that tough, you can't just expect. This is not Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers where they had years of success, and you could kind of count on that. I mean, they did it once. That doesn't guarantee they're going to be back there. Dan Marino went
Yeah.
Super Bowl, his rookie year? Second year, I forget, but he never went back. I mean, it doesn't mean that he's a bad player. It's just tough. All right, so let's get on to our next order of business because we ran long on that. But we're going to talk about some season awards, and we're going to talk about the MVP and offensive rookie of the year, right?
Yeah.
And we're all going to make a pick. We don't have to really belabor it, but just some shots in the dark. Who do we think is going to win those awards and why?
All right. Let's start with our guest here. What do you got?
Am
for
I
MVP?
going MVP and rookie?
No, just do MVP.
Yeah,
We'll
do
go
MVP.
first.
Do MVP.
So MVP, I'm gonna go, and it's gonna hurt. A-Rod. So here's my stance on the whole thing. Is that if you're a hater, like a Bears fan, of course you're not gonna look at it this way. But out of any year, he's always had somebody that's gonna be that one guy that's gonna be like a top, wide receiver in the league most of the time.
Yeah.
This is the 1 year where he's got the pile of sticks.
But he did win back-to-back MVPs, right?
What's that have to do with what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, with Devontae Adams.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this year,
Exactly.
that's part of my point.
Okay.
Is that if he has a great year this year,
Yeah.
it proves even more how much of MVP he is.
Yeah.
If his team has a great year this year, with everybody talking down on the wide receivers he has, or
I
that
mean, he's got Sammy Watkins, whatever.
okay, Sammy Watkins, we're talking about whatever. Yeah, exactly, whatever. So Sammy Watkins looks good. You're gonna say, "Oh man, he's got Sammy Watkins." That's why he's
Exactly.
No, you're not.
You have to have built-in excuses as a Bears fan as to why he might
Yeah,
be
yeah.
good.
I'm just saying, if he has a great season, they have a season like I just said, and we get in the over and make the playoffs, he's gonna be. And then also on top of that, all eyes are on A-Rod right now.
Yeah.
With all the stuff going on in the news, he's mainstream. So if he has a great year, I think he's gonna be MVP.
Okay, what about you?
I'm going to say Lamar.
Okay.
Man, I think Lamar has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He didn't play a few games last year. I think he comes back strong as hell this year. I think he wants to prove his doubters wrong. Rashad Bateman's going to go into his second year as his primary wide receiver target. Mark Andrews is top 3 tight end in the league. He's getting his run game back this year, hopefully, which was decimated last year by injury. I mean, they had to go out and they had to sign who the hell was it? They signed Le'Veon Bell at one point. They had Devontae Freeman there, and they had somebody else too, just another fill-in. But you got a strong J.K. Dobbins back. You have Gus Edwards coming back from injury. They drafted Tyler Batty. I think, honestly, Lamar's going to go out and win 12 to 13 games this year. And I think Lamar is going to firmly cement his place amongst the best quarterbacks in the league, not just fantasy-wise, just best quarterbacks in the league.
All right. And
So wouldn't you feel even better about him if he didn't have any of those guys you just said, if he had a great season?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to feel better about somebody. If
So you
don't
would
have
say
that,
if he didn't have all those weapons and he had a great season,
But,
that
I
he
mean,
would
you're
even
trying to pull-
more so be
you're
MVP.
trying to pull magic out of your ass with this A-Rod comment because you're looking at Alan Lazard being his number 1. I mean, that's
Well,
like...
we don't know who's number 1 is yet. Let's relax.
Yeah.
The season
Lazard
will
doesn't
show.
even have one.
but yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right. So
You know what you're
I
trying
think,
to do there, and I don't appreciate it, buddy. All right.
No, I appreciate it. I think that the guy I'm going to pick is kind of the consensus, the favorite to win, and I think he should. And I'm going to say Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen, talk about a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy that made like 17 plays in the last 10 minutes of that game to win it, and just to have his, mismanagement by his coaching staff lose that game to go to the Super Bowl. I know it's probably going to hurt a little bit to lose Dayball and all that, but I think he's good enough. I think they know what he can do. They got it figured out, and I think it's his thing to lose there. I mean,
That is a very safe pick.
if you like Rodgers, and what he doesn't have, I just think the Bills are going to be better and they're going to go further. I think he's going to have a better year. He has more around them, and I think they want to give him the award.
All right.
All right.
Who's they? The NFL?
The Associated Press.
The Associated Press wants to give it to Josh Allen.
I think that's the guy they want to give it to. All right. So then we'll go to our offensive rookie of the year. And who do you got?
I got Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks. Okay.
And it's more so like I love running backs. So I'm looking at running backs and wanted to give a running back that position, but it's more so the position he's in. Mm-hmm. Having Robert Woods coming off an ACL. and then he comes in there and he has the opportunity to be number one, which is kind of hard for a rookie to get in that spotlight. So if he can do well in that position, I mean, I'm gonna be drafting it. If he takes the spot of AJ Brown, then I'm looking at that where I could take him as a wide receiver one. Take a flyer and he could become my wide receiver one. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, you're talking about fantasy. We're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Offensive rookie.
I think in fantasy.
You're getting your wires crossed.
Fantasy.
It's all right, man. It's tough to do on the show, man. I'm always fantasy minded first too.
Well,
You're
there
holding
you
it.
go.
Well, that's
The toilet-
it's appropriate.
It's gonna happen.
The toilet was backed up.
Yep.
Shit overflowing onto the table.
All right, who you got, Mark?
So am I sticking with that?
If you
Is
want
that
to,
who you want?
I mean, I guess I'm not gonna think of somebody else right now.
Okay, yeah, where you go? Treylon Burks, rookie of the year.
There we go.
See, I'm not a running back guy. I'm more of a tight end guy.
bet
But
you are.
I digress. I think, it'd be easy to take Breece Hall, right, and say, first pick in the draft, he's being interjected into the Jet system, blah, 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 right?
Very easy.
And then I would also like to go with James Cook, who
All right,
I
stop
feel
naming everybody
is
that
going
I might pick.
to.
Yeah,
You're
he's
not
just
going
trying to throw them all out there.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
But I'm not going with either of those guys.
Obviously.
I think Chris Olave for offensive rookie of the year. I think the way that Winston throws the ball around, I think this ankle sprain is probably nothing too serious.
Sprain.
The way that Winston throws it around, Mike Thomas coming back. I think we're going to get a shade of Mike Thomas of what he was prior to the injury. So I think he's going to take a lot of heat off of Olave. You have Jarvis Landry, who was a very technical underneath route runner, and then again, the Kamara suspension looming. We already know we're going to have Kamara for the first few weeks. So I think Olave is really going to explode in this offense. I think you're going to see Olave downfield a lot. I think he's going to get a lot of yardage, and he's going to have a decent amount of touchdowns too. I like Olave.
I don't feel so bad about my pick now. I'll be honest.
That's all right.
Oh, you said it was easy, and I'm going to be Mr. Easy because I think Breece Hall is going to be the rookie of the year. I mean, it's teed up for me there. I mean, why wouldn't you
teed
pick
up the
him?
last two for crying out loud?
I mean, I'm picking what I think is going to happen, right? And Breece Hall is set up in a perfect situation. He's got the good sub 4.4, great runner. Going to New York, I think they're going to lean on him with a young quarterback.
He sat out of the Cheetos Bowl last
But
year.
we haven't
Big
seen
friggin' deal.
some
You
bullshit.
should sit out of the fucking Cheetos Bowl once
we
in a while.
haven't seen running backs do so well
Okay.
there.
Uh-huh.
Have we?
Where? In the NFL or New York?
New York.
Curtis Martin.
Curtis Martin
Yeah,
is a great
how
one.
far away was that?
That was a
It was
long
a while
time
ago.
ago.
I'm not going to
For the
lie.
love of God.
But
Didn't
this
the
is-
Jets just draft a guy?
Michael
he was
Carter.
he was a third round pick though.
I know, but everybody was excited about what he was going to do in the offense.
They were.
No, well, no,
fantasy-wise, I'm talking.
Fantasy wise, but that was also not before the season started. That people got excited at him towards the end of his rookie year because he kind of flashed a little bit.
No.
Yeah,
I think we were
yeah.
excited his
No,
rookie year on draft.
Yeah, he was the
Well,
one that
maybe
went
in
screaming up the board.
Maybe in fantasy, yeah.
That's what I just said. I'm talking about.
I know, but we're
fantasy.
also talking about offensive rookie of the year.
Translates.
Me a little bit. I
I'm just
disagree.
saying.
Well, we'll see who's right.
Yeah. After that, I feel like
In
I
like
will be right.
25 short weeks.
I'm sure we'll all remember.
Yeah. All right, so we're done with that, and with that, we're gonna get into our next segment, which is I can't find the. There it is, our fantasy.
Come on, baby. I need you this week. It's your time. Time for a breakout.
Oh, baby daddy. We just have to throw Rocky in
That's
there.
Rocky. Oh, the heck, come here, baby.
So, am I going first again?
If you want, somebody else could go first. It's up to you.
You want me to go first? I'll go first.
Well, can we say what it is?
I'll go
yeah.
first.
Oh,
Dumbass?
shit.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pick our fantasy comeback player of the year. So
This is
gonna
fantasy impact.
yeah. So this is gonna
Good, that's
apply
what I'm
to
thinking.
yeah. We're gonna apply this to a guy who maybe underperformed. I think we talked a little bit about Henry, right? And
We always
weren't
do.
We weren't sure if that kind of fit here.
Fit the mold. If it was China, he probably has Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But we were just thinking it might be a little cheat code.
Yeah. So fantasy comeback player of the year. Go.
Should I go first? Did
Go
you
ahead.
have Derrick
No.
Henry?
No.
All right.
I'm a fantasy fucking oracle,
Okay,
buddy. How
let's
about
see
that?
All right. Take it
Nobody
easy.
likes when you do that.
Yeah.
Be humble. All right, so I'm gonna go. If he wins the job, I'm gonna go Baker Mayfield. I just think with the passing game, they have a lot more pass heavy than he was with the Browns. He's got Robbie, he's got DJ, and he's got Christian McCaffrey, which we're,
who could also be fantasy comeback player of the year.
Right, which you can't forget, though, that is also a lot of receiving on his end from Baker because he's catching a lot of stuff out of the backfield. So I'm saying if Baker's probably going that like QB3 right now, I'd say he's probably going to end up at the end of QB1 or the beginning of QB2. So that would be my fantasy breakout.
That is,
and to be fair, I know you wanted to pick Saquon, but we're two Giants geared.
I did want to pick
to
Saquon,
do that.
but there was more. That was more of emotional, and this is more of like the setup seems right.
Yeah.
No.
And I get that, and I mean that's a hell of a pick, honestly. If he ends up in the QB1 top tier QB2 talk, that's a hell of a nice pick. Giants have a couple of guys that could be comeback player of the year, but we're not going to talk about either of them.
Okay.
Fantasy
Galladay
comeback
and Saquon.
Yeah. Okay. Fantasy comeback player of the year is a gentleman whose prime years were wasted in Chicago, and that is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson going out to play with the Rams, to play with Stafford. I think this elbow thing, I think we're blowing all this shit out of proportion.
Isn't that why your major league aspirations failed because of tendonitis in your elbow?
No, it was my shoulder that blew out.
Oh,
Just overall his body composition.
Yeah,
gave out.
Yeah, just
Got
all
it.
just kind of
Body comp.
Didn't fit the mold.
Didn't fit the uniform.
Yeah. I could definitely.
You could've
You could squeeze
you
in.
could've stuffed yourself.
Yeah,
A little David Wells action.
Could have stuffed yourself in there.
But anyway, Allen Robinson going out to play with Stafford. Stafford is a fantastic quarterback. We saw it last year coming out of Detroit, going out there and doing what he did to win that Super Bowl. You already know you're not going out there to be the guy. The guy is Cooper Kupp, right? So you're going out there to take your targets in stride. You have a healthy Cam Akers. You have a very viable tight end in Tyler Higbee. For fantasy comeback player of the year, Allen Robinson is finally not going to let you down, especially where you're getting him. You're getting Allen Robinson. He has been moving up the board the last couple of weeks, but you were getting him as your third wide receiver. Right now, if you want him, you got to go out and you got to get him as your second wide receiver, or you're the first one to get your third wide receiver with Allen Robinson, but he is going to give you low-end WR1 points this year.
Okay, fair enough. And my pick is going to be a guy that I don't really like that much. Too much dancing for my taste, but he's a guy in a new place. And I'm going with Juju Smith-Schuster in Kansas City, okay? And this is a guy that had a lot of usage, but has been a bit of a disappointment, even with all the targets. His average yard per target's been pretty low, but I think that's going to change. With Kansas City, you lose Tyreek Hill. There's a big hole to be filled. They got Skylar Moore. I understand that. But I think it's a guy that can stretch the field. You have a guy in Kelsey that can patrol the middle of the field. You got backs coming out of the backfield. I think it's the perfect offense for a guy like Schuster to get into that intermediate route tree, get him targets, get that average depth up, and continue. He can handle the load. If he could just stay on the field, obviously, I think he's in for a big year where he can maybe be mid-tier, high-tier wide receiver too.
I think that's a good pick there, and I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the bad taste that Juju was left with in Pittsburgh. I mean, he was dealing with Ben at the end of his career and his noodle arm. They already had their field stretcher in Deontay Johnson, so they needed somebody underneath who was Juju Smith-Schuster. And that's the reason why his average depth per target was the lowest in the NFL, is because, I mean, that's the perfect recipe to have horrible yards per target. Now he's going out to Kansas City with one of the higher yards per target throwing quarterbacks in the league with Patrick Mahomes. You already have your field stretcher in Mecole Hardman. You already have your targets monster with Travis Kelce. You're going to see Juju in a lot of one-on-one matchups, and you're going to see just how good Juju is at running his routes. And Juju's going to have a fantastic year this year.
Oh, well, I do think that it rejuvenates. That's not me. I do think that rejuvenates the feeling of Juju. And what I feel is he's going to end up having Sammy Watkins-like numbers.
I think he's a better receiver than Sammy Watkins ever was, to be honest.
No.
Maybe not more talented.
A healthy Sammy Watkins?
He's never been healthy.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying you just said he's a better receiver than Sammy Watkins.
I think he's an all-around better receiver. Sammy Watkins never really panned out to be anything other than, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just
Flash in the pan.
Yeah, I mean, he had a decent rookie year, and then
Yeah,
he
I
just
think
never put it together.
that's. I'm not.
Schuster.
That
put
is kind of what
legitimate-
I'm saying,
He
though.
put legitimate seasons together, though.
Right. I think, but with the team he's surrounded with, he's not going to be the star, and he's not going to be like low end wide receiver 1. He's gonna.
Well, number one, he doesn't have to be the star, but number two, there's a big gap left in that offense right now. And before, like he said, Deontay Johnson came into that offense, and when Brown was there, Juju wasn't a short route runner. He would stretch the field. I think they'll get.
You
back
think he's
going to
be stretching the field with him?
The guy's 20, 26, 27. He's
They
not
got a guy to stretch the field.
Yeah.
the rookie. Or are you
Yeah.
talking about? I mean,
Well, and Hardman too. Hardman's the second fastest.
yeah, but
player
I
in the
think
league.
Hardman. The fact that they brought Juju in and drafted Skylar Moore says all you need to know about Hardman.
Oh, 100%. They needed someone who could catch the ball.
I guess what I'm saying is, if I'm taking Juju, he's my wide receiver 3.
Well, I think
And hoping that he does better, but wide receiver 3 is
well,
what
that's
I'm
what we're talking about here. I think the value on him is great because you're probably not going to have to take him as a wide receiver.
Which is a great point. Before we get blasted on social media, let's preface with we're talking about fantasy comeback player of the year with where you can get them versus what their perceived value is. You know, I think any one of us would have just said, Christian McCaffrey because he's going second overall behind Jonathan Taylor. So it'd be easy to say that he's the comeback player of the year. But we're giving you guys that you might not be thinking about that are not in the class where they're being drafted. They should be drafted a lot higher.
Yeah, because I think you get him as a wide receiver 3.
Yeah, you're not taking him as your wide receiver 1.
But
Oh, no.
I think he could wind up playing for you like a high-end wide receiver 2. That's what I'm saying.
And it also
100%.
depends, like we have talked about in the past, like depends what league you're playing in.
Yeah, obviously.
Juju is a name, so if you're playing in a league with guys who don't
stooges,
know anything,
yeah, they're gonna
you
wanna
probably
grab
don't want
him.
anything to do with him.
Yeah, because he'll probably go higher.
Right,
Yeah.
but if you're playing with some guys who know what they're doing, you're going to take him a little early, hope he's a wide receiver 3, and moves up to a high wide receiver 2 or something like that.
Yeah, fair point. All right, time to get to our next section.
Ass of the week.
That guy's an asshole.
All right, and that's who's our ass of the week this week. We got him right there up on the wall.
You got him right here.
Big Ben. And Big Ben made some comments, allegedly. So now I'm going to be totally honest. This is from TikTok. Learned that on TikTok. Says this from USA Today that Big Ben said, what was it, that Deshaun Watson
And quote him.
is an asshole of the
And
week?
He should be.
He shouldn't be. Oh,
He
we
shouldn't
can't
be in the league.
We can't have predators like that in the league.
Right.
He should be banned.
Yeah, get it together.
Banned from the NFL. I'm getting emotional.
I'd say
Sorry.
this is Ben. He's Batman right now. He's throwing a bomb, and he's disappearing. He's basically throwing Deshaun out there in front of him.
Now, for context, for all our young listeners out there, Ben Roethlisberger was accused of rape, right?
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Now, he was never found guilty.
It was more than accused, though. It was pretty detailed.
It was pretty detailed.
People
but-
are creative. I don't want. If he wasn't guilty,
He wasn't guilty, though.
I don't want to do that, but it is in the air, in midst of that.
Yeah.
So I just think it's curious that he would
Go hard in the paint.
Listen, even if you're totally not guilty as Ben Roethlisberger, maybe
You're just bringing the spotlight back
you don't
on
want
you.
to throw your hat in the ring here
Take it easy.
and say that the guy needs to be banned from the NFL.
Here it is. Here's my chance 18 years later to prove my innocence. I'm going to call somebody else a predator.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
pretty,
shit. Now I
pretty dumb.
remember that Ben Roethlisberger raped that woman in a bathroom in a bar. You're just shining a light on yourself, you dumbass.
Yeah, because there's a whole generation of NFL fans that probably never really heard that.
It's
stuff.
a terrible strategy.
Yeah, it's not smart.
To all our casual fans, you're the Pittsburgh quarterback with a goddamn noodle arm for the last 4 years, man. Why the hell you should have just ridden that
They did
Pull
ask him
noodle
the
arm to-
question, though.
the sunset?
Did they?
You said they asked
I
him
didn't say
about
anything. I just played the clip.
that clip was saying that they asked him about Deshaun Watson.
Well, he's
blah,
got to
blah,
be
blah.
smarter, huh?
Yeah, he's got to
I mean,
evade
just
it. I mean,
fade
like
into the
we
sunset.
know, Big Ben does. He evades stuff in the pocket, but this one he took on. Yeah,
All right.
He
So
brought it on himself.
what an idiot.
What
All right.
a total ass of the week.
That's right. All right. So from ass of the week, we go to class of the week.
I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego. I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
Sorry,
all right,
guys.
that was
Sorry.
bad.
Sorry, a little bit.
So we're talking Vince Scully.
Vince Scully, man, the great, rest in peace, Vince Scully, the great Vince Scully, who went to school with Rocky, and I'm sure he's sad that he's not here to reminisce with him. But I mean, it just makes you think about how fragile life is and how close Rocky is to losing it.
Right.
Well, I think
And
so.
he knows
Fun
he's
fact:
close.
I think they were born at the same hospital, correct? Same week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
But
This is
I
when
mean,
they pulled the babies out with pliers at this time.
we're a little young for Vin Scully.
No, we are.
I mean, we heard him here and there, but I would say soothe melancholy sounds of Vin Scully.
if
It's
you
a
hear
dying breed.
if you hear him talk in an interview, you're right.
It's a dying
I mean, the
breed.
guy's just engaging. He's captivating.
Oh, 100%.
Just speaking. I mean, the guy has stories for days. Well, had stories for days, and yeah, I mean, just a class act and one of those guys that you just know about. I mean, I was gonna say Howard Cosell's another guy like that we just know about because we
Yeah.
know about him. You were a little bit older, maybe you know more
Well,
about Howard
because
Cosell. but-
more of the time goes on, it's less like we used to have one guy or a couple guys that was like the main guys because it was like nationally broadcast, like a lot of big things.
Yes.
Now it's so split up that
Yeah.
you only have a few of those guys left.
So
yeah,
like
you got
nowadays,
Bob Costas, Joe Buck. I'm gonna keep cutting you off.
Yeah, well, nowadays it's Joe Buck for everybody. But for me, like
Michaels.
growing up, it was Al Michaels. Al Michaels is like the
John Madden.
Al Michaels, John Madden was like the face. So Keith Jackson was kind of fading out at that point.
Yeah.
Howard
Tony Romo.
Cosell was fading out at that point. Yeah, now you get Troy Aikman, Tony Romo.
Well, Troy Aikman was hand to hand with Buck like in the 90s, so I'll give Troy, even though I hate him.
Gruden.
Not the 90s, 2000s. Gruden. What about Dennis
Joe
Miller?
Buck. Did you say
Miller
Joe
was-
Buck already?
No, Dennis Miller. Yeah, we said Joe Buck.
I mean, I don't really like Joe Buck, but
Oh, I love Joe Buck.
I don't really like him. But
Yeah. But hey,
not a huge Joe Buck guy
Vin
myself.
Scully,
Vin.
stay classy.
Yeah, brother.
We did the best we could.
I mean, besides, I'm a young guy.
Well, I'll say
We're
this.
so young. I'm the youngest.
Stay classy.
Youngest
in
guy
heaven,
here.
Vin.
Besides Vin Scully, the only maybe I think he's older,
Who?
is Corcel.
I
Yeah?
just said Cosell.
Yeah, I know you did.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
going back to it.
Yeah, it's another guy.
That's probably the only older guy I even know.
And I heard something today. Scully was, I think, the only guy that didn't play.
I don't think Cosell's older than Scully though.
I
Are
don't
they
think
same
he's
age?
older.
Let's
But
see.
so Vince Scully's the only
How
guy for the
close?
Dodgers that was like on their Mount Rushmore and was not a player.
Yeah, I did hear that too.
Yeah, you heard that?
Oh, yeah.
We listened to the same
Oh, yeah.
show.
Howard Cosell.
All right. Well, listen, it was a long show. I think it was better than our usual.
Oh, definitely.
So, you know,
Humbly.
we appreciate it, and we appreciate
Humbly.
anybody that is not here. We miss you guys, sort of.
Oh, Cosell was older. Good
Look
call.
at that. Look at that.
By 9 years.
Wow. That's
Wow.
not even. That's a wide margin.
It's almost
Yeah.
a decade.
That's a decade, basically.
But
Let's
I mean,
round up.
he died in 95.
If you count the 9 months he was in the womb, it's basically 10
And
years.
some countries
Decade.
do.
Yeah. All right. So, you find us here on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you had comments on our picks for MVP, Rookie of the Year, Fantasy Comeback Player of the Year, our over-unders on those NFC and AFC North teams, leave it. Obviously, follow us on our socials at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at UFL Podcast. Don't forget to like us there, comment, and subscribe. Peace.